Hey, you crazy cats. It's me. It's Victoria. I mean, cat. I am here today to do an Adobe tutorial. So I just want to let everybody know that I am not great at Adobe Illustrator. Um, I wouldn't even say I'm good at it. I can just get the job done. So, um, someone who can just get the job done is going to give you just like a few really basic things that to help you learn about Adobe, but maybe not. I've seen some really crazy things on Twitch and YouTube and all the things where people are just doing some insane things using Adobe Illustrator. And I will tell you that that is not going to be me, like at all. It's not going to be insane or crazy, but um, it's just going to be very like basic, like super basic, the most basic thing. Um, I will tell you too that I was very intimidated by Adobe Illustrator for a really long time. You know, it's kind of like Adobe products in general are just kind of intense. Like for someone who doesn't know a lot about them, it can seem overwhelming. Like you have all these tools and all of these things, but and like what do these things do and all of that. But you know, it's just kind of like once you get going with it, it's not too terrible. And the more you do it, the easier it gets. And um, again, like if you just consistently do it, it's a lot easier because if you stop doing it for a little bit, it may get to the point where like you forget what some of the tools do and it just kind of makes it like harder. So I probably use Adobe Illustrator maybe like a couple of times a month, maybe more. I I used to be like the biggest um publisher fan and I was like obsessed with publisher. Like I'm like why aren't more people using publisher because this thing is amazing and you can just do so much with publisher. But um and I just felt like I knew everything there was to know about publisher. Then I was kind of forced to figure out like how to use Adobe Illustrator. Um, and it was extremely helpful. And now I don't use Publisher unless I absolutely have to. And yeah, so I also really like Canva a lot. So if you haven't heard of Canva, it's like literally you go to canva.com and there's all these amazing templates on there that you can use. And it's just like, hello, Mark, and just like all this really cool stuff that's really helpful for like if you do marketing and communications for work. Um, you have like these pretty cool little social media things that you can do with Canva and just like all this really cool stuff. So, anyway, I also really like to use Canva, but I also really like to create it myself. So sometimes I'll even use Canva to just get like some inspiration. Or I'll use Pinterest to get some inspiration. That's also a really helpful thing. And then I'll just take it all and just put it all into thanks for following me, Black Cry. And I'll just take all of that and turn it into this Illustrator thing that, you know, you just have like more control, I think, using Illustrator. But Canva is really helpful too. And you can do way more with Canva than you used to. So here we are in this wonderful Adobe Illustrator blank page that we have set up. So I figured I would just do like a really basic flyer. So again, we're talking like basic here. And so I think that this experience will be really helpful. I don't know. I'm not even going to say it's really helpful. This experience may possibly be helpful for someone who doesn't know a lot about Illustrator, and would just like to learn basic things. But if someone is very familiar with Illustrator, they might find this to be totally obnoxious. So another thing too that I'll just say is that there are other Adobe products that people use way more frequently. I think, well, I'm not even going to say way more frequently, but for things like flyers, there are other Adobe products that you can use that would probably be more helpful, um, and just better for something like a flyer. You know, I don't know as much about those products. And so I've just really come to adopt Adobe Illustrator like it's kind of like my baby, like publisher used to be. Poor publisher, poor publisher. Um, but it's just like my thing that I like to use. But I would really like to learn those other products too. So, anyway, this is my thing. Just with this, knowing that there, I don't know a whole lot about it, and also, um, there's probably other products that would be totally better for something like this. And Mark Clara, yes, this is what I use to make my stream banner. Thank you. So we're just gonna start here. So I have this flyer that I made before, and I just kind of want to take elements of it and make it into something better. I don't love it. Um, it doesn't scream like happy, happy, let's go to this event to me. And I just want something more. And I don't know what that something more is quite yet. But I want to take elements of it and turn it into something that I like way better. And we're just going to use these vague things here, um, and just copy and paste some of these elements into this other document. So I'm gonna start out. So what I really like to do is I like using like the rulers and guides. So that's gonna help me make sure that things are aligned and centered. So maybe I want to start out with like, so what I literally did was I just clicked on the ruler and dragged this guide, and I'm going to put it right there around the 1 inch line. And I cannot see super well, but we're just gonna say that's about 1 inch. And you can see up here. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side and put a guide there at the 1 inch line ish. And you can always adjust this. If it's not right where you want it, you can adjust it. And you can zoom in to just make sure that it looks the way that you want it to. And because I'm not wearing my glasses, I'm going to zoom in an extra amount. So it looks pretty good. I think it's like right there at the 1 inch line. If for whatever reason it wasn't at the line that, like, you know, we wanted it to be, I could right click and no, excuse me, don't even need to right click yet, but you can highlight this and then just use your arrow keys to move it forwards, backwards, and then you have a lot more freedom with that, to be able to get it like just where you need it to be. Whereas with like a mouse, it might be more difficult. And if you don't want those lines to go anywhere, like when you're moving things around in the document, you can lock them. So we're just going to lock them for now. And by the way, I did not say that out loud, but to lock them, you just need to right click and press the lock guides button. So, I I want to, so let's think about like a color scheme that we want to use. Yes, thank you for that reminder, Markler. So let's think about a color scheme that we want to use for this. And so this is going to be an event called Winter Wonderland. This hypothetical event, and it's going to involve like dinner, dancing, silent auction. And when we think about like wintry colors, maybe it's going to be more so um like something soft, or maybe not soft, that's probably not, but something kind of like cool, maybe like a light blue. Um so let's go in here and just kind of play around with the colors a little bit. So if we wanted to do sort of like a thing down here and just draw like a box, and then we want to color in this box, figure out what colors we want. So here there's this fill thing. So let's just look here and figure out. So we have like this neat ombre thing. To me, when I look at this though, like I'm always thinking about like word art, you know, like back in the day when like you'd be in the computer lab. um you'd be in the computer lab at school or something, and there would be like, you know, you could do these letters that were all like big and bold, and maybe they were, I don't know, maybe they formed a circle, or maybe they just like did a swirl or something like that. I don't know. But that's what this makes me think of. I think about this like in some sort of font somewhere, and like the letters are going up in a diagonal line and getting smaller. I don't know. Whatever. So probably not gonna go with the ombre, but we do have some other nice, cool colors here. This one might be a little too bright, but it doesn't have to be. We don't just have to like go with it. So there are other colors that we can choose. Like we can just make it a little bit lighter if we want. We don't want to make it too light too, because we also have to consider like using font too. I'm a really big fan of using like white font, which is not the best because I think sometimes it's hard for people to read. So I really have to like make myself not do that, but I seem to end up like doing it anyway. So we have this like color here. Not sure if this is going to be the color that stays for everything, but we also want to make sure that the outline of it is going to be like the same as like the inside, or there's just no outline. So let's just go with no outline. And so let's look back at this, and so we have like a similar thing going on here, and this one's a little bit darker. So if we wanted to hypothetically use like one of these snowflakes, there we have lots of different variations here. So I'm just gonna Control C and copy this snowflake and put it right over here. And I like this background. I want to say that this background like was created, like this can change if I'm not mistaken. So maybe it's, I don't, is it, it's not on group. No, I don't think we want to ungroup it, because then like the snowflake would fall into different pieces and the snowflake would be very sad. So we're gonna do undo group. So we could do something. So let's just, I don't think, let me see if I can try it this way. That way? There we go. That's all there is to it, apparently. Just have to change the fill. So not sure that we want it to be that color, but we have different options. So we'll just make it that color for now. And, you know, we have to think about, like, do we want it to be big or small? Just different things like that. So not sure yet, but let's copy all of these over. So we know what we're working with. I'm going to Control C. And Control V. I actually do kind of like that background a little bit. It's nice to, it's like a nice sort of change of pace. And I'm actually, I want to see what it looks like if we change it all to, so it's like, I really like the watercolors. Like, I'm a sucker for watercolors, but I'm kind of wondering what it will look like if we change it all, like change everything to the same color. So let's check this out. So I'm gonna see if I can copy all of them and change the fill at the same time. So this is, so when I do that, I feel like it all just sort of, it's hard to tell the different things apart. But I'm wondering too, like, I know I keep going back to this one, and the whole point was to just like use something different. I wonder if what it would be like to add this in. No, not that one. I wonder what it would be like to add this circle in. So that breaks it up a little bit, but I still think that it makes it look like the snowflakes aren't as unique as they actually are. So yeah. We could still maybe use this circle. Not super sure. But these, I think, and maybe these could all be like different colors so that it changes colors as they go around. So we could try variations of the same color. Let's try. So we'll go down a little bit. I think that is still the same color. Yes. I think it, okay, it accepted it this time. We could just see, change it to every other one is like that. So I'm using the color dropper here because it just makes life like just a little bit easier. You can just like take on these other colors around it. And then if we added this back, I do think so. I think we would need to add in another snowflake because this whole like these two being side by side and the same color, I think would just drive me crazy. But I do think that this works a little better, maybe. And it doesn't even have to be in this circle, but I'm just thinking about like a nice sort of sophisticated way. Um Marklar, what happened to the guy who made Control C and Control V? I'm very concerned about this. One of the things too that I think about that um messes me up is having like a thing here to refer back to. Like it I think it hinders like it makes me because like I, made this flyer, but I didn't like it that much. And but I keep going back to it as almost like an inspiration, which doesn't make any sense. So here's what I think we should do. I think we should exit out. Um, that's really sad. So if you could please tell the clan, our group here, Marklar, if you could please tell us like I'm giving you the job of sharing some happy news because now we're sad about the guy who made Control C and Control V. I know I am. So I'm giving you this very special job of giving us some good news here. In the meantime, I'm going to get rid of this because I keep coming back to it. And we're just going to have this... We have some snowflakes to work with, but we need to do something else because that's really the goal here. One of the things I think too is like you kind of want to make something that like is associated with something else, or I mean you don't have to, but it might be easier to think about like when you're thinking about a winter wonderland. Um, you know, like if you just brainstorm different words, you could find different things to associate with it, so it's not just. So you might be able to do like a play on images or something like that. So when I think about Winter Wonderland, and please, cat, I just saw cats in the chat, and so, but yes, cats, cool cats in the chat. Chime in with your Winter Wonderland brainstorming ideas to help us figure out what we're gonna do, um, with this flyer. And thank you, Mark Clark, for that redeeming good news that you have given the chat that our cats are being really cute. So, Mark Clark in the chat, if you wouldn't mind helping us brainstorm Winter Wonderland ideas. So, what you think about when you think about Winter Wonderland. So, I think about snow and maybe some hot chocolate and ice skates. And snow boots. Maybe some skiing. And it being cold. Maybe like a blizzard. Is that how you spell blizzard? Blizzard. Blizzard. Alright. Hot pink. Orange. Maybe some falling snow. Snowmen. Snowballs. And then when you think about, you know, there being like a silent auction and like a gala or something like that, um, yeah, you think about something kind of fancy. So that's one of the things I think about this flyer too, is like you want it to be kind of, you know, not everything. It's just like you want this to be a classy flyer. Um, so we could, let's look up some, we can do this, right? We can look up some inspiration on Pinterest. I think so. Um, got a Junie. I I'm like hesitant to figure out how to pull up Pinterest, if I'm gonna be completely honest. So not gonna pull up Pinterest. But let's just play around with maybe like the size of this snow. Just see what we're working with here. Figuring out like a good font that goes with this is probably also going to be like an essential part that will help bring everything together. What y'all think about Vladimir's script? Also, really enjoy lowercase, just in general. I am sort of feeling this. Let's see what this down here would look like if it was darker. And actually, let's turn this. I know it's like ridiculous, but we're just gonna say that this here is going to be a logo. And this is where we're gonna stick our logo. It's my favorite thing to just like control C a bunch of times when you have something that you want to sort of spread out and then you just place them places. It's great. It's a beautiful thing. You have like all these different ones. So my goal here is classy, and sometimes it's a hard thing to do with like these anime things. Um, and that's like what this is, you know, it's like illustrations and but sometimes it can be like tacky, I think, to use like pictures of things that are not animations on a flyer. And one of the things we could look at too is let's look at what it would look like for this to be kind of like a mountainous thing with like maybe a snowman. Let's just play around, go crazy. Right, this one snowflake does not want to move, I don't think. It's not. Okay. So I'm just gonna put this over here. I do like that color, but let's see what it would look like if we made it a little mountainous. So if you're gonna make up a shape like that, you're gonna want to use this tool here, the curvature tool. And in order to fill it, you would have to connect it all the way around, so it's just like a complete thing. Then you can pull it in, adjust it how you need to, so it doesn't look like just a big blob. And you can always like choose put this down. You can always edit the curves, like these little dots. You can always edit them. Like I kind of think this is a little high, so I'm gonna put this down. And you can delete them too. It just makes it so it that doesn't even exist anymore. Maybe I like it. I don't know. And maybe. So let's see what this. I'm going crazy here, but let's see what this would look like. Let's just make it white, the whole thing. And then we'll turn this here to background. So this is kind of what I was talking about with like the font, you know, like if it was here, we're gonna use font here, I'd probably want to use white. And I don't, let's see. I kind of do like the contrast here, but let's see what this would look like actually with this lighter. Do some other crazy thing. So if we decided that we wanted the snowflake to be like right there in the center, we would want to make sure that used a guide so that this point right here was going to be right there in the center. So this is 8.5. So to be 4.25, which is about right there. So this point here would to be It's like maybe that it's just angled slightly. Or it could just be an off because that happened. Because snowflakes are unique and beautiful. Yeah, I think that is probably the case. Let's see what it looks like if I were to turn. Yeah, it looks like it's just gonna be slightly off center, like no matter what direction it is, and that is fine. And also, it doesn't have to be the snowflake. Like, this could just be one of these. Oh, so another thing to keep in mind to prevent it from like doing this crazy like warped thing here is that when you do adjust it and like you want to make it bigger or smaller or whatever to make it so it doesn't look crazy like this, you just press shift. And pressing shift will make it so everything stays proportional. We have some other snowflakes to choose from. I do like this one. But I also like the I like this one too. So let's just see this one looks like. I'm not feeling it. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. I want the other snowflake back. Give me my other snowflake. There you are. And I liked it. I think I like to turn the other way. So let's see what this would look like. Alright, so we don't have an option to make this bold, so that's something to consider. Let's see. So use the old faithful white font that I'm trying not to use. I'll hold down shift while I make this font bigger. Let's just add some of these like snowflakes here to see if it makes a difference. Also, you might wonder like what something would look like without these guides here, and you can always test that out by clicking hide guides. This is sort of like a better representation of what this flyer looks like. Oh my goodness, we just moved the whole big old snowflake. Okay, we got all those little snowflakes. Just here. That there. We'll put this here. So this is not obviously finished, so but let's see what it looks like. One of the things, so I don't think that I'm feeling this like snow plow thing. I think I want it to just be not there. So maybe we'll put a box back, and I'm actually gonna get rid of this thing. Well, actually, so let's see what it looks like if we put this in. Go crazy, being crazy. But I'm just kind of curious to see if what it would be like if it was like this with Winter Wonderland in the middle of that. I think for sure the circle needs to be a bit bigger, but maybe even the snowflake too. Yeah, so I think the snowflake needs to be bigger. And I'm not feeling it. But I'm not going to get rid of the circle, actually. Might still come back to that. Okay. So what I'm kind of envisioning in this moment is like maybe a cool little thing in the middle that says Winter Wonderland. Like in some cool font. So let's check out our font options. Like I do like this font. So let's see what like big bold font we could use in the middle. So let's just kind of keep this here as an option. These other things they just keep wanting to come. All right, so we could just change it all to emojis. I think that looks great. Just have some good, nice X's here. I used to be crazy about some impact font. I have since like sort of figured that out with myself. Had to have like a talk with myself and say, self, there are other fonts out there in the world, and you don't have to be so crazy about some impact font. This was impact font. If I was me, the me that I was like 5 years ago, this whole thing would be an impact font. But right now, we're just looking for like nice, big, bold. And sophisticated. So that's definitely like a big determination, I think. Okay, so I'm not seeing like any fonts that I'm really excited about. But I know there has to be something. See what this French script. I know that this is not like cool and crazy. No, not happening. I don't like it. So, okay. Let's see what it looks like if it was like this and bigger. Alright. So I definitely don't think that I want to go for it like in the middle of the snowflake. But let's just go with it here. And maybe we can add some lines. And I'm going to put the guides back. So let's add some more guides to just make sure that this winter wonderland is centered. So, well, actually, we won't even have to do that. So these little points here, that's the middle of this text box. So you can just line up the text box with the middle here that we have already figured out. What if we add some lines like some like this? I'm holding down shift because it'll help me make a straight line. And right now it's just like an invisible line essentially, so I'm going to make it white. Change the fill and the stroke color to white because the stroke color is what's going to make me be able to make it like bigger and bolder. Let's stick with 1 point though and see what that looks like. It's up a little bit. And we up a date, or how about we'll put the location space here. And this fancy event is gonna be, say it's at the Ritz-Carlton. This one I feel like reminds me of like impact font. But yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna try not to use that one. So let's say it's at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. So we could, so there are different ways that we could separate the text here. I could put a line in between. So like a vertical line, because I want to put the location here on the other side. So, and let's make this white also, like, fine. Or I could use like a symbol, like a dot. And so let me see if I can maybe, let's see if the old Windings is on here. Solid. I don't know. Yeah, I don't even know like what thing it would be, so maybe that's not like the best thing to do. But I could actually just make like the dot that I need using this tool. I'm gonna hold down shift, just make my own circle. Make it right. Alright, I'm gonna hide the guide so we can see a little bit better what it's starting to look like. And let's make this font just a little smaller. And sometimes it's hard to make the font smaller when you do it like that, so we'll just do it the old-fashioned way. How about 17.5? Just going to center this here. To really make sure it's centered. To show those guides. So I think I want to change the font to make it so now that we know that we're in Heller, Texas, I want to change the font so it can be big enough to reach like from end to end. Okay. All right. So now that I sort of messed up like how the line is, I want to make sure that these words are lined up. But before I do that, to fix this the way it needs to be. So what I mean by that, we're gonna zoom in crazy. And I'm gonna go start from the top and go down using the ruler and just put my guide there, like right underneath. Missed it just a little bit. And my guides are locked, so I'm gonna have to unlock guides. Let's go back to the crazy zoom. So my goal here is really just to make sure that the Heller, Texas, and the Ritz-Carlton Hotel are lined up. You can see, even without me moving the guide, you can see how, like, Heller, Texas is just like a little higher than Ritz-Carlton Hotel because they're in different text boxes. So I'm just gonna bring Heller, well, more than I anticipated. So let's see if we can adjust it. All right, so it's kind of helping me out here and showing me exactly, I think, where I need to be. No, it's not. But that's okay, because we're gonna fix it. Let's see if that is it. Yeah, I think we're right on track now. All right. So we got the what? The where? And now let's do the when. So I'm gonna get rid of these guides again. And we're gonna do another line here. Good old Heller, Texas, that's right. And also we want to make sure that this line is like this, well, actually, no. It doesn't even have to be the same distance here, because it may be that we have to change the font size, and that's okay. So I'm just copying and pasting these text boxes so that it's like the same font and font size. And it's going to be on, let's say it's December, Sunday, December 32nd, 2020, question mark, I'd say, because we don't even know if that's like 2022 or 2023. So And then maybe we can use that same dot that we created and put the time. But we want to save like a time range, so I think we're gonna need some more space. So I'm gonna change the font size. Oh, I'm doing all kinds of crazy. I'm gonna say it's gonna be 4 to 7:30 p.m. Woo! You scared me. Y'all, Izzy has a scary sneeze. I'm sure y'all remember meeting her yesterday. She's scary. She's not scary. She's not scary. She's a big old sweetheart. That's what she is. So I'm going to do these guides again because yeah, gonna have to do the guides again because we want to make sure that everything's like the same distance. Uh, 2.5. Then who's this? Because this font is smaller, I'm gonna make it like 2 centimeters. Instead of 2.5. All right, chat. What do you think this looks like so far? Like, are you feeling it? Oh, I'm moved this dot. Are we like so excited for this flyer with the very specific um snow or what? Clara, for you. See what this thing like as hot pink. What do you think? Or Clara, I need you to look at this hot pink flyer. Alright. We're gonna change this back. Ugh. Alright. This thing works out pretty nicely. I think we could go up to like 20.25. I think I'm gonna go ahead and do all the lines and then we'll tighten it up like when everything is done. Um, and now, all right, so we got what we're gonna do, and now you need to know like next steps. So I'm wondering if maybe we could just lift up this up here. And add in like a bottom part that has, you know, like next steps, like a website, like that. And we still got windings going on, so I think that's fabulous. So we're gonna say it's like $300 per ticket, which is crazy. And then we'll say it's $2,400 per table, which is crazy. And then Alright, so let's check out our guides too, because I want to make sure that our everything's like aligned. Um, Ideally, I mean, it would be really nice for everything to fall right under this, but I think this is a little bit off. It's like too off to fall under this, but I want it to. Um, yeah, this is bothering me. Like, I want everything to just be right here. Let's see what it would be like if it was here. And then we said this was gonna be our mock logo. Put that here. But it can't be here because it's here. All right, well, what if I get over my thing where I feel like it has to be over there? And let's just see what it looks like here. And center this. All proceeds benefit the best nonprofit. So we're going to need to add some more guides to make sure that everything that we just added is aligned. spacing seems kind of crazy to me, so we'll have to, yeah, I feel like this is not right. So there I basically did, and that was basically, yeah. I think I didn't zoom in as much this time, so it's throwing me off a little bit. So I'm gonna need to fix. Are we done? We're gonna get for our list here. The guy. Alright. Markler says that he thinks Winter Wonderland looks kind of small. Let's see if we can. I don't know if I'm actually selecting the right things. Winter Wonderland. Select everything. I won't control C it. And I will just put it over here. Let's just see what it looks like to make the whole thing. Well, what if we don't make the whole thing bigger? What if we just made and Winter Wonderland was the okay, maybe let's do that. I'm gonna show the guides and we'll just make it so Winter Wonderland is what goes out. No. I went just a little bit crazy with all of this. And I got rid of some important things. Alright. I think we might be in good shape. So like if I was looking at this for the first time, you know, I would say, oh. We need to make sure that this part here is up. Alright, looks like we're safe. So if I was looking at it for the first time, like the first thing I would see would be like the snowflake. Like that's what I noticed right away. And I would also be like, why isn't it snowing everywhere? Probably. And I kind of want to see. Well, I think maybe making this like a light blue color makes it so like the words stand out on the page. And yeah. All right. So I think that we have given this our best college try. And yeah, so I hope that you were able to learn a little bit about Adobe Illustrator through the process. This is certainly not the most amazing flyer in the world, but it's just a small glimpse into different things that you can do through Adobe Illustrator. And, you know, maybe we'll come back to this. Maybe we will not, but we will have another Adobe Illustrator tutorial next week, next Tuesday, around the 8:30 time frame. So just stay tuned and we'll learn something new next time. So thank you all for participating in this thing. And yeah, I'll see you on the flippy flop and I'll see you cats later. Bye bye.